Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to a channel called Riddle. I feel like I have reacted to this channel before, but I'm not too sure. But the video is, what if Titanoboa snake didn't go extinct? I don't know much about the snake, I'm going to be honest. I just sort of saw the thumbnail and I thought, wow, this snake looks big. And that's about it really, but again, it's probably a bit of clickbait, you know how YouTube is. But still, man, I mean, I'm assuming it's still a crazy ass snake. I mean, I've heard stories of like snakes that are huge, right? And obviously like alligators and whatever, but yeah, man, I mean, again, I feel like I've heard the name as well, so maybe it is something that I'll be reminded when I actually get into it. But yeah, hopefully you're going to enjoy. Quick shout out to my Instagram, my Twitter, links in the description for those interested in following. Save my Patreon, links are there for those interested in finding that. But yeah, man, let's get into this and let's see what this video shows me about this big snake.
Can you immediately name the largest snake in the world? I'll give you a hint. This is the name of a very famous horror movie. Did you guess? Right, it's the anaconda. If we pair it with the largest crocodile, Cassius, weighing almost 1 ton, you can write a script for a new horror film. But these giants are just babies compared.
I hate snakes so much. I don't hate them, but I just hate them, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into
those that once lived on Earth for a long time. Take, for example, Kronosaurus and Titanoboa. Once, these two predators were a threat to all life, both on land and in water. But what would happen if they still lived today? Could humanity survive, or would it be the end of us? Now, I'll tell you about the ancient monsters that terrorized everything in their path. You'll learn when and where these monsters lived, and then we'll bring them to the present. You'll see whether these giants will capture our world, and if people will be able to put up a fight. Something tells me that today it's going to be very hot.
Quick question: how can they actually find out that these were real? Like, I never fully. There's always a little percentage of me that just doesn't believe it, because is it just skeleton remains? Like, how do they know this? Like, I just don't get how researchers can find this stuff out. There was a snake and a crocodile or an alligator. I can't see the difference. I can't see the difference. But how can they find this? Again, if there's remains, fair enough. But still, I'm just skeptical. I am always a little bit skeptical. I do believe it, but I am always a little bit skeptical if these are actually real.
Turning on the time machine, let's get to know our characters better. We'll start with Titanoboa. This ancient snake lived about 58 million years.
Is that? I mean, if that's real, if that's in a like a museum or something, I rest my case.
Years ago, and according to scientists, for at least 10 million years, it was the largest predator on the planet. Its length reached 13 meters or 43 feet, and its weight exceeded a ton. Can you imagine this giant? Here's an illustration for you. If you laid 2 giraffes on the ground.
Oh my god. Okay, that is scary, bro. Bro, imagine seeing this. Oh my days.
Then Titanoboa will still be longer. Or you can just look at these 2 vertebrae. The model on the left belongs to the anaconda, and on the right, Titanoboa. It turns out that the largest snake living today is half the size of the ancient reptile. In width, the mega snake could reach 1 meter or 3 feet.
What? Are you actually? That's literally, that's more than half of me. I mean, I'd like to say I'm 6 foot, but I'm not. I'm like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10". That's more than half of me. Are you actually? Bro, this stuff just baffles me, man. It actually baffles me. And now I'm seeing that there's actually like sort of remains of it. I fully like believe it now. So I'm just like, what the it's just ridiculous.
It could easily swallow a young hippopotamus. True, in ancient times, there were no hippos. Titanoboa preferred to eat fish, and this monster could be found in dark swamps and rivers. In addition to fish, it could feast on crocodiles. It was a sophisticated killer. The giant monster attacked its victim and strangled it in its strong embrace. Then the snake swallowed it whole and digested it for a long time. The victim suffered a compression force comparable to 1.5 times the weight of the Brooklyn Bridge.
I can't. I just can't. I can't. How? How can things be so strong? It's a fucking animal. But I can't put into words this kind of... what this malfunctions, how this malfunctions my brain. I mean, you can probably tell from how I'm talking. It's just ridiculous.
So, put in numbers. That's 28 kilograms per square centimeter, 400 pounds per square inch. Even though the Kronosaurus was smaller in size, it was also a very bloodthirsty predator. Its wide-open mouth, full of many small teeth, speaks for itself. And the size of the predator is comparable to the dimensions of an orca, also called a killer whale. To be more precise, the Kronosaurus reached a length of more than 10 meters, or 33 feet, and its weight could reach up to 12 tons. In its appearance, it was remotely similar to a modern crocodile, only in a very enlarged version. And even their bite strength is a close comparison. It was also a skilled swimmer that probably attacked its prey from the depths. Kronosaurus had a very powerful rib cage, 4 flippers, and a small tail. It literally gnawed at its victim, leaving no chance for survival. Kronosaurus couldn't have encountered Titanoboa. They lived in different periods, and even perhaps loved a different habitat. Kronosaurus could live in fairly cold southern seas, but Titanoboa loved a hot climate. But this didn't stop the two predators from instilling fear and terror into all living creatures in the area. Now, let's imagine that these two monsters didn't die out and that they still peacefully coexist with.
I mean, one thing is, because of the ocean, we've not explored like 90-something%, like 98% or whatever. You don't know, like in these deep oceans, bro. Again, maybe not these sort of creatures, but there's going to be some weird ass creatures for sure. I mean, the ones we found are just wild, but the possibilities of what else is out there is just... Again, you just never know.
Although, would it be peaceful? This is a big question. If Titanoboa survived to this day, it could well be found in the equatorial tropics. For example, Titanoboa would love the hot climate of Colombia or neighboring countries like Venezuela, Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, or Panama. Obviously, people would have to more carefully protect their homes from the intrusion of Titanoboa. However, it's unlikely that the snake could crawl unnoticed into a house. It would have no trouble knocking out a window or even breaking a door. Fortunately, this behavior is still unusual for snakes. But all the same, in order to protect themselves from intruders, people would have to surround their homes with high-voltage fences and keep a big stun gun under the pillow, just in case. In noisy megacities, a huge snake would not have a single chance of survival, only if the snake doesn't accidentally wind up somewhere under the heating main, a comfort that a reptile might appreciate. But food in the form of rats would hardly suit it. By the way, most likely she wouldn't be interested in people as a food source. In horror films, the anaconda often devours people. However, in reality, it rarely attacks a person. It can be assumed that its distant ancestor would also be indifferent to us. But for people, Titanoboa could be a welcome trophy. Any zoo in the world would dream of getting such a valuable specimen. And its skin would be a real hunt. People who catch these huge snakes would become real national heroes. As for the super snake diet, in our world it would find something to eat. Alligators, turtles, river dolphins would suit the giant in all respects. Animals on land would also have a hard time. Giant armadillos, manatees, tapirs, cougars, jaguars, caimans, and Brazilian otters would be endangered. Sure, adults would be too big, so cubs and young animals are what they need. Titanoboa wouldn't mind eating fish, since it's a more familiar diet. As a result, the food chain would be...
So producers, primary consumers... Secondary consumers.
Broken. Some animals would probably migrate to safer areas, but the fauna of the forests of Amazonia would be greatly impoverished, although insects and fungi would start to flourish and evolve. Very soon, there'd be no trace of the once lush vegetation. Kronosaurus would hardly have liked life in our condition either. In ancient times, even turtles were the size of a kitchen table. Eat just one and feel full all day. But such a monster would need about a dozen modern turtles. And then I still doubt it would be enough to eat. In addition to turtles, the ancient monster fed on Plesiosauria. But in our world, he'd have to look for an alternative. Most likely, it would switch to large marine mammals. It wouldn't be able to swallow a whale all at once, but in parts, then sure, it could eat it completely. Such a huge body would need tons of food. Like a giant meat grinder, it would sweep away everything in its path. People would suffer greatly due to a shortage of fish in the seas and oceans. Fishing itself would be very risky due to the existence of an underwater hazard. Ships would have to be built to be much more solid, and in the event of the extinction of whales, a climatic catastrophe would begin. There would be nothing to extract thousands of tons of carbon from the air. In the underwater depths, there would be a daily battle for life. Given the size of the monster and its ferocious disposition, there could only be one winner. We'd have to forget about tourism and sea traffic in the monster's habitat completely. This place would be marked on all maps in red, and anyone who dared to go there would practically write their own death sentence. If Titanoboa had the most valuable skin, then a Kronosaurus would have had its teeth. Small and sharp like a saw, they could cost more than the horns of a rhino. Today, they're one of the most expensive materials in the world. Their price is about $65,000 per kilogram, more expensive than gold. By the way, did you know that there's a danger of the return of extinct animals to Earth? I'm not joking right now. Scientists don't rule out the possibility. First of all, I'm talking about Titanoboa. There's speculation that it lived at a temperature of 32 degrees Celsius. That's 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And given the growth rate of global warming, such average temperatures can become a reality. I'm glad it will take millions of years. Would you like to see ancient monsters with your own eyes?
Why will this slime mold destroy humanity? Maybe I should get some more reactions from this channel again. I don't know if maybe I reacted to it before and it got blocked or something, but fingers crossed it doesn't. But man, this is a wild one. To the viewers from the future, this is what people in quarantine are watching. Legend has it our parents had to wrestle these monsters in the snow for 4 miles without clothing with frostbite to get to school. My mum looks more dangerous than Titanoboa when she's angry. So glad he didn't forget to mention the snake is taller than 2 giraffes up my ass. Really put it into perspective. Bro, I can't. My head is gone. My head is actually gone. Let's be real here. The Titanoboa would probably live in Australia. Fun fact, Titanoboa actually captured its prey by telling them it had candy inside and had them call its mouth very sneaky. I'm already scared of a flying cockroach. Let's be real. These mega predators would be hunted to extinction in 5 seconds. No way humans let them keep hanging around. I mean, I guess maybe, but at the same time, just the possibilities of them is still wild, man. Just there's possibilities of seeing one. What if Titanoboa didn't die? There would be a whole new brand of leather handbags, that's for sure. Titanoboa, we can make a species go extinct. We can destroy the ecosystem. Humans, thanks, but we already got that covered. The guy who talks like humans are kind enough to let these threats live if existed. They remind me of the fucking Godzilla versus Kong, man. They're like that size. It's just ridiculous. Like just sub creatures that are just beyond anything. I just don't know. It is crazy, but the fact that these are real is even crazier, man. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one. What are your thoughts on this? Do you want more reactions to this channel? More reactions of this kind of stuff to other animals that have been extinct? Let me know. But yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, peace.